Alright guys, so um, now we're going to get into some of the actual robot code. So you know the basics, it's going to look like a lot, um, but everything is specific, but it all is the same format, okay? No matter what type it is, okay? You'll have different methods and it'll calculate different things for you, but it's all just numbers and easy to read once you understand it, okay? So here I have last year's robot code open, and I'm open to the DriveTrain subsystem. And this year our code's going to look a little different, just because we're switching from command base to state machine, but the basics still remain the same, okay? Java is still the same. So you have your package. We haven't talked about these yet, but these are imports. These import types that Java doesn't originally come with. These come from the reference libraries that FRC gives us. And so these are all the different things that you have to import to get the types, such as cantalons. Cantalon type refers to talon SRX on the robot. The the motor controller, right? And what they do is they're how we move the motors, okay? For those of you that don't know. So you have private or public type. And in the second video, I didn't put public or private, but that was because it was such a simple class. Here, on every single type, we are going to be putting public or private just because it's very important. We want to know where it's going to be able to be found. But private final, cantalon, so you have your place and you have your final or static. Final just means that it can't be changed. Static means that it can be. And then you have your type, and then you have your name. And then you'll notice that as we go, robot map is a class up here. Or robot map is right there. And that's where we store all our parts in command base. And this is actually type cantalon as well, but it's just equal to it, and it's a shorter name than using this everywhere. Okay, so that's useful, right? Right. So then you have types, all this. Anything in green is a comment. You can create a comment by using 2 forward slashes. So, or 2 backslashes, I don't know. But whatever these are, I can't ever remember between the two. But, okay, so you can create them, and that's just one line. Now, to create multiple line, I'm gonna put a slash, then an asterisk, and then when I end it, I'm gonna put an asterisk like that. Okay, and then if I keep entering, it's just gonna keep it a part of that comment. Right. So these are all things that I need. First method down here. Okay. I'm not really going to talk about super. It's not very important. We will have to use it. Super is just it's using another method in this method, but in a specific way. It's different than just bringing in a calculation. I can't really explain it. It's kind of hard to do. And here you'll see this, and you'll be like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Well, it does. Here we've made a this is type robot drive. All right. We created drive up here. Private final robot drive. Okay. Now here we're defining it. This is a robot drive. This is a method. This is actually a class. Sorry. And this class needs two different things to do your calculation. So this is your left side and right side. It's referring to your DriveTrain so that it can tell one side to go positive, one side to go negative, because if you gave them both positive, your robot would be turning in circles. Just think about that for a second. So that robot drive does all that calculation for you. It negates one of the sides. I can't remember which. I'm sorry. But then you'll see here, there's different things inside of robot drive, that different methods that you can use inside of the robot drive class, and those allow you to do a lot more things. So it's just that name, and then dot, and then a method for that type, so that you can, I don't know, there's a lot of calculations, you can get a lot of information out of them. We use this for the encoders. So yeah. I'm not really going to be talking about this. One thing that I do want to mention is new. When we look at new, we're calling that class and we're creating a new instance of it. And what I mean by instance is we could theoretically have multiple different robot drives in our program. Okay, and it's drive, the name that we fill with this robot drive instance is a new instance of it. We use new to create a new instance of that class. Okay. So if you ever are trying to make a value and then instantiate it, you have to put new, or else it's never going to work. You'll see new here. This is a class. You don't need to really know what this is, but methods are still the same basic idea, if you will. These are all very simple. These are all calculations, and there's not much to them really. This one's telling you of arcade drive, so you're driving with the joystick. Here, you're grabbing the joystick. Drive with joystick is the command, and there's a couple of things that feed this method with what it needs, and then once it gets it, it takes takes this, okay, Xbox. So whenever you see Xbox, it's talking about the actual joystick. Okay, so RT on equals Xbox.getRawAccess. So this is for the right trigger. This is for creep mode, right? And then we have robo speed X, and then that's your X-axis on the control, and then your Y-axis. And then I create double X, double Y, and they're equal to those. And from there, I put them, if creep mode, this, your axes put out a signal. This one puts out a signal from 0 to 1 because it can't go opposite, so a negative number. But that's kind of yeah. If it's more than halfway down, I wanted it to go at 60% speed, so I'm multiplying that X value times 60%. True is just part of drive, arcade drive. It's expecting something here. I believe that true, if I'm true or false, has to deal with whether they take that value and square it, and a lot of the time you don't want that squared, or you do want it squared. True or false determines that. Test to see whether you should use true or false. Just make sure your robot's not going fast. But you always need good comments. These aren't good comments. These were not done very well. You know, you can see down here, you have no idea if somebody that hadn't written this code had come in, they would have no idea what this is talking about. So you really need to, I mean, at least once at the beginning of the method, just tell what that method is supposed to be doing. Sorry, I did my ear, but it needs to tell what that method is doing, and sometimes you might include a previous history of that method, so that others might know previous problems that you've had, and they might be able to use it in that method, or they may be able to use that same sort of idea or concept somewhere else in the code. So it's just very important to use comments so that other people understand what you're doing. Okay? I hope that this was helpful, and I hope you learned a lot.